rebels are storming the Capitol building. If you're hearing this transmission, no one is safe in. Evacuation orders are in effect. Trap House Entertainment.
Yeah. You gotta rebel to be a rebel. You gotta reach hell to be a devil. You gotta break bread to hit the bezel. You gotta make sales before you settle. Foot on the pedal. You need it yellow. I pop up with the chopper and I hit him with it. Up the river with no paddle and the water piss yellow. So you gotta be a rebel just to make it out the ghetto. Change gon' come with the funds or the guns. Cause a grown ass man can't survive off of crumbs. And I still shake hands with the fiends and the bumps. You know the real ass rebels always came from the slums. You know the
Always came from the slums.
You know the real ass rebels.
Always came from the slums.
And I still shake hands with the fiends and the bums. You know the real ass rebels.
Always came from the slums.
If you play the game, then you know no one is innocent. You gon' get some battle scars, wounds, and some blemishes. You gotta toe the line, hold it. I'm back. I'm back at it. I'm back at it like a bad habit. That city swipe, that country river. Try to count me out, that's a bad game. But you'll lose a bag when I clutch the hammer. Shooting content. Don't move the camera, you full of shit. You will use camera, still starting fires like a new camera. Niggas washed up, need a new hamper. Make the newspaper when the Jews hate us. I'm too gangster, you coons anxious. My day ones with some Tomb Raiders. Never making moves with no new strangers. If you do me dirty, then I do you wrong. Then write about it in a newer song. When you see me, nigga, then you know it's on. Cause I'm tossing gems, I'm throwing stones. I'm back, yeah. I know you niggas really hate my swag. I'm digging deeper in my bag. These gems and stones gon' make them mad. I'm back, yeah. I know you niggas really hate my swag. I'm digging deeper in my bag. These gems and stones gon' make them mad. In these streets you can't pretend. Better watch who you offend. Cause once that drama starts, man, that shit don't never end. In the streets you can't pretend. In the streets you can't pretend. I don't even pay attention when you niggas talking shit. Y'all some creepy niggas dry snitching, trying to sneak a diss. You a bitch, and I know that shit is hard to admit. Got no time for arguments, you need the thought before you slip. Put my paws on your cheek, put hot sauce on the whip. You a little dog, I'm the big boss, I'm legit. I kindly beg your pardon if you pop off with the politics. And if you chasing fame, you probably swimming in the pool of piss. You ludicrous, I'm stacking cash, running with them hooligans. If you want the drama, then you looking for some foolishness. I'm eating steaks at Ruth Chris. You eat a sandwich with a fist. I always hit and never miss. Leave your ass and be your bitch. Got more bounce than the brick. Whip this off and make it hard. You probably jumped off the porch, but you stayed in the yard. All the pills and that syrup keep your brain in the fog. And they take your flesh and bones if you play with my dog. You don't want the drama.
You don't want the drama.
Instigate the monster.
You don't want the drama.
We just blowing scums, trying to get some commas. We just stacking dollars. We don't wanna holler. You don't want the drama.
You don't want the drama.
Instigate the monster.
You don't want the drama.
We just blowing scums, trying to get some commas. We just stacking dollars. We don't wanna. I'm the main character. You niggas just some NPCs. So I know you envy me. I beat you like an MP3. I'm hotter than the third degree and burn you like a DVD. My green is always green and you blowing on that CBD. I'm sweeter than the nectar team, cause if it come to blows, ain't nobody gonna intervene. The path that you chose, let your ass right to the guillotine. Shooting from the baseline, shooting from the waistline. Time is money, I won't let you waste mine. The murder rate case size, so you know the stakes side. If you playing outside, to the village drama city. Niggas know we do or die. Better watch who you supply. Choose a side, or suicide.
You don't want the drama.
It's to get the monster.
You don't want the problem.
We just blowing scars, trying to get them commas. We just stacking dollars. Don't wanna holler. Don't want the drama.
You don't want the drama.
It's to get the monster.
You don't want the problem.
We just blowing scars, trying to get them commas. We just stacking dollars. Don't wanna holler. In these streets you can't pretend. Better watch who you offend. Cause once that drama starts, then that shit don't never end. In these streets you can't pretend. Better watch who you offend. Cause once that drama starts, then that shit don't never end. In the streets you can't pretend. In the streets you can't Trap House Entertainment.
Trap House Entertainment.
The king can lose his crown. The teacher remains intelligent. The fiends will watch you drown the moment they can't get medicine. So you better swim like a veteran. Pulling late nights like Letterman. Eyes like brake lights. I know you smelling it. It's the best I ever been. Y'all niggas softer than some gelatin. You never win cause you moving devilish. Fire than a pelican. Master the technique. I always show more action and less speech. Dead beats are dead meat. Living like some scared sheep. Pickle eggs and red beets. I want the beef like red meat. You can't sleep. Once you see the blueprints, your ignorance, a nuisance, my 2 cents, you're useless, you just a doofus. I'm in the eye of the storm, trying to tie up some loose ends. My flow wet like jet skis, I'm moving at jet speed. Revenge of the black key, got mastered the technique. My flow wet like jet skis, I'm moving at jet speed. Revenge of the black key, I got mastered the technique. So immortal, my legacy lives on. To my L's with a smile, you never been that strong. I've been writing since the 90s, yeah, it's been that long. Try to jump off the porch and got your ass at home. Yeah, I got big bones, I'm a master of the crab, better not pitch stones. You don't wanna feel my wrath, a pack of raw cones and a half of that gas. We move like Vikings, if our clans gon' clash, I'm fire coded. The new Trojan, you been scrolling. My mind open, I'm too focused, you too bogus. It's amazing how I keep cause fiction and keep motion. Until you put in work, all you can do is keep hoping.
Trap House Entertainment.
My flow wet like jet skis. I'm moving at jet speed. Revenge of the black geese. I mastered the technique. My flow wet like jet skis. I'm moving at jet speed. Revenge of the black geese. I mastered the technique. My flow wet like jet skis. I'm moving at jet speed. Revenge of the black geese. I mastered the technique. I'm flowing like jet ski. I'm moving at jet speed. Revenge of the black king. I mastered the technique.
The rebels are storming the Capitol building. If you're hearing this transmission, no one is safe in. Evacuation orders are in effect. Trap House Entertainment.
Yeah. You gotta rebel. To be a rebel, you gotta reach hell. To be a devil, you gotta break bread. To get the bezel, you gotta make sales before you settle. Foot on the pedal, you niggas jello. I pop up with the chopper and I hit 'em with it. Up the river with no paddle and the water piss yellow. So you gotta be a rebel just to make it out the ghetto. Change gon' come with the funds or the guns. Cause a grown ass man can't survive off of crumbs. And I still shake hands with the fiends and the bums. You know the real ass rebels always came from the slums. You know the
Always came from the slums.
yes, you know the real ass rebels.
Always came from the slums.
And I still shake hands with the fiends and the bums. You know the real ass rebels.
Always came from the slums.
If you play the game, then you know no one is innocent. You gon' get some battle scars, wounds, and some blemishes. You gotta toe the line, hold it tight, and keep it militant. Silent and listen, the same word just felt different. I sit and gather my thoughts and polish up my penmanship. Recruiting some new membership, my plans are deliberate. The people won't rally if demands aren't legitimate. You better stand on business without pulling no ligaments. Change gon' come with the funds of the guns. Cause a grown ass man can't survive off of crumbs. And I still shake hands with the fiends and the bums. You know the real ass rebels always came from the slums.
You know the always came from the slums.
You know the real ass rebels.
Always came from the slums.
And I still shake hands with the fiends and the bums. You know the real ass rebels.
Always came from the slums.
Trap House Entertainment.
That money hack is a real glitch. Gotta count it fast, stack it real quick. I push the gas, I got 'em mad. They can't find my kill switch. I push the gas, I got 'em mad. They can't find my kill switch. Kill switch. They can't find my kill switch. And I'm flipping every dollar. I wear Carhartt, you wear Prada. Seems your mindset is the problem. You can see I weed my garden, so my proceeds go farther. On the block before Obama, slinging cribs, smoking scammer. They pop pills, I hold the product. That money hack is a real glitch. Real gotta count it fast, stack it real quick. I push the gas, I got 'em mad. They can't find my kill switch. I push the gas, I got 'em mad. They can't find my kill switch.
Trying to get this acrylic done.
I got real estate, I got property.
I don't know if my ears are clogged. I don't know what's going on. It feels like my hearing is muted or something. I know I'm still really congested. I feel like shit is going to come. But I didn't even check, but I'm almost certain I'm going to need some more varnish. So I figured I'll work on this until the craft store opens up. And then I'll go and get some varnish and try to get a bunch of these things covered this morning. Just try to spend at least half the morning in here and get as much done as I can because I took so many pictures with my family reunion. I want to start getting those images on canvas in the next couple of days too. But today is the 1st, which means I have not a lot of time to get this thing right here done and completed on, like 20 days, which is enough time, definitely, but I want to make sure it's enough time. I'm not going to be struggling for this piece right here. If anything, I want to be struggling for the next reader. And make sure I can get that done and in there. Ooh. So I go to the gym during the week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday mornings. I really haven't been posting a lot of my workouts lately. But I don't know, last week with the family reunion and a couple of weeks before, I've been having this neck pain. I've been going to the chiropractor. She's like, well, you really shouldn't be lifting too much heavy weights at the gym. So this, I have been slacking off for like a month or so. But the other week I did my regular routine, and I went this week as well. So I'm trying to get back into it. I don't know, like I've had this congestion, cold, sinus thing for this is day number 4 now. Like I said, it feels like my ears are clogged this morning. I don't know. This is the first time I've ever experienced this ever in my life. I just feel like, oh no, I can't hear properly. What the fuck is this going on? It's kind of like when you change altitudes, even if you're in a vehicle going up a big hill or down a big hill, or if you're in a plane and that pressure changes and your ears get kind of clogged. That's how I feel right now. And it won't go away. This fucking sucks. Um, oh shit, that's not good. Oh man, yeah, I don't like doing that either. Oh. Normally, if I yarn, you get that little relief. That's not working. Man, I'm struggling so hard this morning. Man, for about 30 seconds. Yeah, it's not working. I feel like I'm falling apart over here. There. I can't breathe. I can't hear. My fucking everything hurts. All right. We're gonna get as much of this acrylic done until the craft store opens. But then I need to go get some varnish. I need to varnish like 3 big paintings today to get those ready for the show. And like I said, try to get as much of this acrylic done because I have to varnish this painting as well. That's my main thing. I'm really doing this and some varnish. I could have started the varnish already, but I don't think I have enough to finish all the pieces. So I don't want to get started until I can just run through all of them at once. Beans, good morning, bro. Oh my god, it's not cool in here, but I might have to turn this AC off. I think it's making me worse. I'm already congested. I don't think this cold air blowing on me is making it any better. Oh my god, my head feels like a fucking bowling ball. Anybody have any good remedies for a stuffy nose? Like I said, this is like day 3 or 4 where I'm struggling to fucking breathe. Oh, did I not just finish it? The hell? It's Saturday. I think we're supposed to get more rain today. Mm. Damn, this green is not wanting to cover. Hey man, I don't want to sit here and have to goddamn coat this shit 7 fucking times. I just want a flat, even cover. Bro. Mm. Wait, I think I should keep the background white or I'll give it a color. Mm. It's some kind of color. Super light green or lemon. All right, we'll see. I'm gonna have to do something. Even if I keep it white, I'm gonna have to paint it white. I'm not just gonna leave the white canvas. I would actually put white paint on it. So I still would have to paint it either way. Still gotta get painted either way. All right. Off white, pure white, no good. Mm.
This is what I actually play. And the song sounds like.
Basically, Anthony Fauci was called up to testify today in front of Congress, and kind of a big deal. I'm kind of surprised this happened, but let's take a look at it. Senator Rand Paul had a Capitol Police eject Anthony Fauci's attorney from the building after he refused to stop screaming during the hearing. What? What the fuck? What the fuck is this? Anyway, let's watch it.
But the attorneys are not recognized. In fact, the attorney was told not to sit at the table, and he's not obeying that recommendation. There's a row behind you, sir. That's where you were told to sit, and you're not. And now you're disrupting the proceedings. And so, look, this is the way Anthony Fauci wants to be remembered. For a lawyer not listening to the rules. That's the way you want to be remembered, and that's what you're going to do. You are not recognized, sir. Security, please remove him from the room.
Uh-oh. Damn. Dragged out the fucking attorney. That's good. I thought he was yelling. His mic was muted. You're listening to it from the microphones. I mean, it's obviously he was talking, right?
Let the record state that Dr. Fauci will still have the advice of the other half a dozen attorneys that brought along today.
Jesus, man. How fucking embarrassing. And let me scroll down. We're going to look at a few more of these other posts, right? So this is one right here. And Rand Paul announces the committee will be voting to hold Dr. Fauci in contempt of Congress. Oh, my God. Oh boy. Attorney should have pled the fifth, should have done something, right? He didn't have a mic because he wasn't supposed to sit at the table. Well, I don't know exactly like why it happened. I have no idea, but either way, it didn't work out too well for him, it seems. Okay, let me take a look. We're gonna look at a few of these and go through all of them. Let me turn this up a little bit.
As the Supreme Court has been clear for a century for Brown versus
that even
Walker,
seems-
1890.
That seems staged, or that seems like a part of the act too. Because if you brought more than a half a dozen lawyers, and everybody understands the rules and how the proceedings are supposed to go about, and you're instructed not to sit at the same most forward table with Fauci, you're asked to sit in the row behind him with the rest of the legal team. First of all, you disrespected that ruling. Then they didn't even give you a microphone, or if they did, or if you were sitting in front of a microphone, it was muted, but you're still trying to talk over people. But no other attorneys or lawyers or legal aides in this proceeding is trying to do any of that. So why is this one character, this one gentleman acting that way? And who selected him to be on the team? And why would Fauci even allow him to sit next to him at the table? You take up all this time and to make this big spectacle about getting kicked out because I'm going to speak up for Fauci. I spoke up so hard for Fauci, they had to kick me out. Self-reported anthropologist. Look, man, look, here, buddy. I have all the facts. Man, shut the fuck up. And
Six.
Okay, here we go.
When he has been,
Constitution.
let's just get one thing straight. You don't have any rights under the Fifth Amendment because you've been pardoned, as you very well know. As the Supreme Court has been clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege. You know that. Your lawyer's sitting behind you now,
Man.
shifting nervously
Man.
in their chairs. They know it. This isn't about the Constitution. This isn't about the law. This is about contempt. Contempt for this body and contempt for the American people.
Jesus.
But I think I know why you're doing it. It's because you don't want to answer questions. It's because you did all kinds of terrible things. It's because during the pandemic, you got rich, didn't you? You got rich while people were dying, hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 1 million in the end, and you were getting rich. And not only were you doing that, you were using federal employees with taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally.
Wow.
Cash prizes totaling over $1 million. You did all of that during the pandemic, didn't you? That's a question.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Hello there. Oh. I'm sorry, who are you? I'm Liberty Bibberty, and
Oh, man. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, this is not looking good. Federer was there speaking too? Yeah, we're going to go through it.
Have you refused this pardon, or do you have any reason to believe this full and unconditional pardon, this grant of immunity, would somehow require you to plead the Fifth Amendment?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Based on the facts presented, I'm going to direct you to answer the questions. The committee has issued a valid subpoena. They have requested your presence here. The questions are very pertinent to your decision-making as head of NIAID, as well as a chief advisor to the president. Do you still refuse to answer the questions?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Have you refused this pardon, or do you have any?
Jesus, bro. So he's just he's just squay looping them? Is that it?
The committee why you chose to fund this dangerous research in China?
Uh-huh.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer
Oh my God.
based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
In the red folder on
He
your
said it
table
111
is a
times.
copy of Section 192 of Title II of the U.S. Code. Your counsel has been provided a copy as well. That section makes it a crime for a witness appearing under subpoena to refuse to answer any questions pertinent to the question under inquiry. Do you have that in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Let the record record that the witness has refused to answer whether there's a folder in front of him based on his Fifth Amendment right. It is true that you're appearing under the committee why you.
Man, what a fucking idiot, right? What a fucking moron. I gotta focus.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, nothing says honesty like taking the Fifth, huh, Doc?
Mhm.
Let's try something. What day of the week is it today?
Uh-oh. What day of the
On the
week?
advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie you're wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the
What a fucking weasel. What a fucking rat. Oh no.
Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color's the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the
Do
Constitution.
you remember what I said before about how the way to deal with these people is actually really obvious? Are you beginning to see my point? Are you beginning to see where I'm coming from with this? Because there's a really easy solution to this, okay? It's a super easy solution. But they don't want to do it.
Dr. Fauci, would you like to at least answer this one question for us today and let us know whether or not you've changed your mind on whether or not the benefits of gain of function research outweigh the risks?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer
Wow.
based upon my rights
It's
under the
exciting.
Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
The chairman has denied your assertion of privilege and directed you to answer, but you nonetheless refuse and stand on privilege despite the existence of the pardon. The committee will have to consider after this hearing what appropriate action should be taken against you for the failure to testify after being directed to do so. It's against the law to obstruct an investigation of Congress. There will be repercussions to your refusal to testify today. Dr. Fauci, would you?
I don't believe him. I don't believe him. I don't think you guys, I don't think they have what it takes. I don't think they have what it takes. I don't think that they're willing to do what I think they should do. I wish they were, but unfortunately, it just doesn't feel that way to me. Let me see this. So this is when the attorney got removed. Until he said handcuffs, I believe him. Well, this is what I think you should do, right? Is you take a dude like this and you put him in jail. And then you put him in a jail that is like, they said that Chud the Builder was living in a piss-infested shithole that was basically poisonous. And I think we just put him in there. Because, again, we can't torture people, but we can come pretty close, right? So we can, make it to where people have 100-degree temperatures. We can make it to where you don't give them the right food. You can do a million things to torture people this way without actually torturing them. That's what we should do. Duh. Biohazard torture, exactly. And so, no, we can, yes. And so this would be the easy thing to do. The guy's like,
I'm in agreement. If you ever look at some of these southern prisons in Alabama and Mississippi and see the conditions in these prisons where there's standing water inside the buildings, most of the facilities don't work. The food is trash. There's black mold and rodents everywhere. And they're like, oh, this is state standards. And we are following all the guidelines to hold and house our inmates according to state standards and regulations. And they're fine with that. They're fine with some of these conditions of these prisons being so extreme that, like you said, it can be considered bioterrorism or fucking biotorture or some shit again. The commode does not flush. It's overflowing with feces. That's a biological contaminant. And those prisons don't care. Put Fauci in some place like that. Fucking dickhead. He a Jew, ain't it? Should have known. I don't know. I gotta go to the bathroom and blow my nose. Or attempt to blow my nose. It's goddamn.
85, he'd crack immediately, right? Or he'd die. Either way, it's a win-win situation. So that's what I do. And that's the nice one. There's a lot of people that would say just torture him. Now, I'm not even saying that. There's an easy way and a hard way to do things.
Will be $67. Whenever I've got a spare 10 minutes, I'll just test something on free cash. It's low effort, totally legit, no stress. That will be $97. And it totally pays.
Live in your house? No, that's torture.
We're gonna finish with this question.
So
It's based really
This is why the attorney got removed.
that statement, that general statement of your support for gain of function, the idea that the benefits outweigh the risks. So there are many other people who disagree. They aren't politicians, they're not, I don't know what party they're in. David Relman is probably one of the most
She got
esteemed.
soft.
And
Harrison?
he is a scientist at Stanford. He, I think, has classified clearance. He's been a consultant to our government probably for a decade or more. And he's written about this publicly. He says the opposite. He said that the risks of this research do not outweigh the benefits. He said that you shouldn't do it. Richard E. Bright, who's been involved in this debate for 2 decades, says the same thing. We really shouldn't be doing this at all. There's a quote also by
The fucking picture. What, bro? Can we stop this? Can we stop? Get this shit out of the fucking. Like, come on, guys. It's Congress. Put the whiteboards down. Put the cardboard down, guys. It's a circus.
an Esfelt quote is at the very end.
And this is the thing too. So they do be having these big poster boards that they hold up behind themselves, like, oh, and show them a picture of this. And it's like, what company did you pay to print that shit? And how much did they charge the United States government to print a poster? Because I can only imagine for one little poster board. Man, stop spending my tax dollars on that shit, nigga.
Shit's funny as fuck. Can't even read it.
Kevin Esfelt, who's a CRISPR scientist at MIT, also wrote about this gain of function. I implore every scientist, funder, and nation working in the field, please stop. No more trying to discover or make pandemic-capable viruses. No more experiments likely to disseminate blueprints.
What they're discussing, in case anybody doesn't understand the context, is the idea that Anthony Fauci was complicit in research that allowed pandemics like COVID-19 to get basically exposed to the public. There are a lot of pandemic and virology. I don't know the specific terminology for this, so correct me if I'm wrong. But different virology, institutes and research labs. One of them is in Wuhan, China. We have, I think, a handful of them in America. They are around the world, right? And they basically experiment on trying to almost create these different viruses and then kind of preempt a defensive mechanism against them, right? It's not really the worst idea theoretically, but the problem is that, whenever you're doing something like that, you could accidentally make the super virus and then not have a cure for it. And, just due to human error, something gets out and it's a problem, right? You see what I'm saying, right? Gain of function. Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, like Raccoon City, literally Resident Evil. It's Umbrella Corp or something like that. Sure. Okay, so we all get the concept. This one, you guys.
Dr. Fauci, would you like to at least answer this one question for us today and let us know whether or not you've changed your mind on whether or not the benefits of gain of function research outweigh the risks?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
If you want my opinion on it, as somebody who's not qualified at all to talk about this, I think that we should do that. I think that we do need to be testing new types of viruses. There should be countermeasures, protocols, and guardrails, of course. But to where we don't make something that's just instantly can melt your body. But at the same time, creating and trying to splice these things to create preventative measures, I think is a good idea. I think it's a very good idea. But so I'm not entirely even on their side with this, but at the same time, saying that maybe COVID came from one of those shouldn't have gotten you deplatformed, right? Like these are two very, very different things. Saying that, yeah, we should experiment on different types of viruses to see how we can prevent them from, spreading in the public. Like, yeah, that seems like a good idea. Also, yeah, if somebody thinks that maybe a virus came from one of these labs, you shouldn't get banned from every social media platform for thinking this, right? I mean, this is not unthinkable, is it? I don't know what to say. The issue is the experimenting was done in China. Yeah, I mean, that's sure. I mean, I don't think that China does not have a monopoly on ignoring protocols. I bet we do the same thing. I'm not trying to, I think they probably do it worse than we do, okay? Like, don't get me wrong. But all I'm saying is I don't think that's the only point.
Quantum mechanics describes how particles exist as probabilities rather than certainties. The wave function contains all possible states, and measurement causes one outcome to another.
The chairman has denied your assertion of privilege and directed you to answer.
Because that's a
But
separate
you
question.
nonetheless refuse and stand on privilege despite the existence of the pardon. The committee will have to consider after this hearing what appropriate action should be taken against you for the failure to testify after being directed to do so. It's against the law to obstruct an investigation of Congress. There will be repercussions to your refusal to
He's being a
testify
bad boy.
today.
Uh-oh.
Senator Peters.
Oh, there's the attorney. He's talking.
You're not recognized. You're not recognized. If you are unruly, you will be removed from the proceeding. You are not recognized.
What are you doing?
And you are not recognized, sir. Sir, you are not recognized. You are not recognized. Security. We'll hold off. But you will respect these proceedings. You were told not to sit at the table. You insist on sitting at the table. And we told you you would not be recognized. You are not invited here for testimony, sir. You are being disruptive. Would you behave this way in a courtroom? No, because the judge would put you in jail. I can't do that today, but I can have you escorted from the premises. So I would say, sir, sit quietly and don't say another word. I said, sit quietly. You are not recognized. Another word and you're gone.
Those are 2 words. Those were 2 words. You gonna let that go?
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to hear what the attorney has to say.
He is not recognized by the committee or the chair. If he speaks again, he will be removed from the room. This testimony is from Anthony Fauci. This is not a game with his lawyers. He can advise, his lawyers can give him advice. He's got a half dozen here. They're all allowed to talk to him.
Yes.
All right? But the attorneys are not recognized. In fact, the attorney was told not to sit at the table, and he's not obeying that recommendation. There's a row behind you, sir. That's where you were told to sit, and you're not. And now you're disrupting the proceedings. And so, look, this is the way Anthony Fauci wants to be remembered. For a lawyer not
He's
listening
talking,
to the
bro.
rules. That's the way you want to be remembered, and that's what you're going to do. You are not recognized, sir. Security, please remove him from the room.
There it is. Okay.
Be sure to like it.
Man, how about that? Slimy motherfuckers had to, yep, there it is. I'm glad to see that. Absolutely. That wasn't shouting. Well, does it matter, right? I mean, like, he's still talking over it. He's still interrupting the proceedings. The volume of his voice doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, I guess it would be worse if he was shouting, but fundamentally, he's still disrupting it, and he's doing it on purpose, and he's trying to derail the conversation in order to protect his client. Like, that's what the goal is, right? So his goal with standing there is to derail and obstruct the government from figuring out what the hell is going on. That's what his goal is. That's what he's trying to do. So why would you let somebody do that? Like, what are you talking about? And freaking rat lawyer, exactly. He's done a lot to talk period. He was spamming. Yeah. He's being a decoy 11 times, Fifth Amendment. He's pulling aggro. He was, and it was no reason to do that. And let me see if I can pull this up and I can look at the next one.
It was about 6 years ago today that I decided I'm going to give up my businesses, sell them all, run for office, run for the United States Senate,
Yeah.
Here I am sitting in front of you 6 years later saying, who the do you think you were for doing that?
Damn.
It is a total disgrace what you did to this country. And if my Democrat colleagues are standing there defending you, I hope the voters of the United States of America watch the clips of every one of you doting on a guy who was more interested in being a celebrity than saving American people. I will make it my mission to make certain that every single one of those Democrats who did that will see that clip over and over and over again.
Not enough.
Because there is no defense of what you did. You may have had a 50-plus year legacy of public service, but it ends in total and complete disgrace.
Man, I feel like this is more a voting advertisement than any change charges to be made. I mean, in my opinion, like that's what I would put the guy in jail. That's what I would do. And let me scroll down. Oh, look at this here. This is episode number infinity of people that hate the Constitution using the Constitution when it's beneficial for them, but when it's not, now they hate the Constitution. Republicans, Dr. Fauci pleaded the fifth, so he's guilty. Also Republicans, Trump pleading the fifth doesn't mean he's guilty. President Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, just invoked his Fifth Amendment right, basically admitting that he's a criminal. It's what I've always said. I've said it a million times, and I'll say it a million more times, is that these people don't have any values. They just simply have goals. And if you treat them as if they are people with values and you capitulate to, having a moral or an ethical understanding with these people, the only reason they want to come to a moral or ethical understanding with you is so they can take advantage of you. It's so they can subvert you or somehow use that value against you. You don't give these people any quarter at all. Never do that. So Trump was not pardoned. Well, yeah, Trump also wasn't pardoned. I think there's that too. It's whataboutism. Well, the thing is that whataboutism is not relevant. What is relevant is that you acknowledging these people for what they are. They are subversive agents that are trying to take advantage of you. And so anything that they say, anything they do is going to be in service of that goal. So to the extent that you find yourself on the same side as them, you should be asking yourself why that is. And you should never look and think about these people as someone that you can have a shared value with. You can't have shared values with these people. They're not the same as you. And if it was up to them, you'd be in jail. And that's it. It's a psychopath. Well, yeah, a lot of these people basically are psychopaths or sociopaths, but that's it. Thank you, Shampoo of Procrastinate. What we were saying about double standards. Well, the problem is that, so this is the issue. I don't have a problem with double standards because I understand what these people are. I have a problem with people that have a problem with double standards but are not willing to act on it. Like these are like him and his brother were gassing up the whole thing about, 86-47. And it was like this like very covert way of saying to kill Donald Trump. And they've made other statements about this that were, like kind of borderline doxing. Why are they still platformed? Why aren't they in jail? Why haven't you gone after these people? And even if you can't put them in jail, you can sure as hell make their life hell. You can certainly ruin their life anyway. Why don't you do that? And so this is the reason why I hate the Republicans. Like I hate the Democrats more than anything. Well, I don't actually. I hate the foreign people. Like there are a lot of Democrats like Baldy here that I do like, but I also hate the Republicans. I do. I hate them because they have the power and they don't do that. That's really it. They don't act that way. And so yes, more vindictive actions. It is. Like I am, and by the way, I am completely vengeful. I am totally vindictive. And it is the cruelty is the point. That is the point for me. And so the fact that they don't go after these guys and they just let them run wild it's a disgrace, in my opinion. You let these people run wild for what reason? Why would you do this? So that's really the way I'd say it, right? And it's like someone who's a godmother turned on the game, somehow they still lose. Yeah, basically, right? It's just embarrassing. Anyway, let's look at this.
I've been using Suno for only like 3 weeks, and it already knows I use jazz songs for my content, and I never even told it that. What is happening? I always tend to gravitate towards a certain genre of music, and I honestly don't even know why. I just like what I like. I've been creating the music for my content with Suno, and I noticed this insane new feature they have called My Taste with their new update. Basically, the more I use Suno, the more it understands my style. So I just tap this little magic wand, and it instantly generates music that matches my taste. Just use Suno for a week, tap the magic wand, and you'll get customized songs that match your preferences.
I played a game for 5 minutes and somehow watched 5 ads. So today, I just want one thing, a game that actually lets me play. Let's try this one that doesn't have any ads. Whiteout Survival. Okay, small blocks first. Easy fish, easy money. Big block next.
It's not about much more your regrets, but I have one. And that is early on that there was the theory that the virus could have emerged from the lab.
Yeah.
And
people heard about
early
that.
on that became like a right wing kinds of theory. And I thought it seemed to make sense. Now there was a really advanced lab that was close by, and then you have this unknown.
And I'm not even convinced that it came from the lab. I'm not. But I don't think that you shouldn't be allowed to say that it did. That's the difference. It's not even that it came from the lab for sure and everybody knows it. Like it did. I don't know. Like, I'm sorry, guys, but I think I don't have to have a conclusion on everything that I'm not fully educated in. I don't know. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. But I do know one thing. If somebody says it did, they shouldn't have gotten fucking deplatformed, all right?
Virus.
That's crazy.
Out.
That's
So,
insane.
But that became a very partisan thing. And now it seems now it's more and more emerging theory that would have come from the lab. Now, I think that the next time our nation's facing something like this, we are not become, as I might have been, blinded by the partisan idea that maybe the truth might come from a side that's different than
I think that a lot of people were scared and taking shots in the dark. I think that's what happened with COVID. I think nobody really knew what the fuck was going on. It was happening. There was a crazy media cycle about it. There was mass hysteria. Everything was like completely, like unprecedented in a way. And people were just like, I don't know, like put on masks. I don't know, maybe it came from here. Like, I don't know. So I think that's really what happened. That's probably the reality.
you are, but I think we should really
Stacey
be willing
coming
to
out.
pursue
I saw
truth,
that.
no matter where that may have emerged, after for all of that.
Yeah, and this is true. Stay safe. Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, it's not even on there. I forgot he's rebranded now. He's not Stay Safe at all. And let me pull this up and find it. So in 2021, I was suspended on Twitch for talking about the lab leak theory and the efficacy of the COVID vaccine. In 2026, the official White House website confirms that COVID did, in fact, leak from a lab in Wuhan. And Dr. Anthony Fauci just got caught lying about the COVID vaccine in his own personal diary. By God, we are going to save this republic. So this is what happened, right? These are the enforcers. Yes, this is the way it is. It's actually interesting. Fauci was trusted with confidential information. The information could be divulged in court of law. Maybe. I don't know if it can be or not. They're saying it came from bat soup in December 2019. Yeah, I'm not going to get too far into it, but in general, here we go. Here's some more of it.
Just given a pardon prospectively from
Fauci.
the last administration. We don't know if it was an auto pen pardon. It doesn't really matter for legality purposes. But Americans want to know, a lot of them, is there going to be any accountability for trillions of dollars lost?
Well, you get around the pardon. I mean, you can get around anything. Like, you just make up some bullshit. It's easy.
Children's education.
And also, like, you do something fast enough, it doesn't matter if it was right or wrong because it's done.
Education destroyed. And
it's not like Maduro, right? Like, there's no time to talk about whether it was, legal for Trump to kidnap Maduro. Because he's in fucking New York right now in a fucking box. It's done. It's over.
public health reputation and public health industry reputation shattered.
Yeah, and millions of people injured. You know, he lied about masks, he lied about social distancing, he lied about the transmission, he lied about natural immunity, he lied about the capacity, as you just said, of the vaccine to prevent infection, to prevent it. He got vaccinated a very, very public press conference in January of 2020. And then 5 months later, he had, and this is the first time that we knew this from the diary, he had a pulmonary infarction, which is one of the adverse events that NIH, CDC, and FDA said are expected from the vaccine. He never told anybody. He got treated for it privately by the best doctors in America. At the same time, he was telling everybody that that was not.
Man, how about that? That's crazy. 07 on vax. My dad had pulmonary problems too. But like he also smoked cigarettes for 50 years, drank alcohol for 50 years, and breathed in Agent Orange and had half of his lung gone. I don't think that really had it, but like my dad did get the vaccine, and of course the thought crossed my mind, like was him getting the vaccine, was this somehow contingent on his health decline, right? I'm not sure, but it's something that I think about, of course, right? But yeah. Never should have forced the vaccines on us. Well, he got it. I mean, again, like he just did what he thought the best option was, and like maybe it wasn't the right option, but he's 78, right? So what do you expect? And there's 50 other fucking things wrong with him anyway. So, but yeah, it's something that I think about. And they call it turbo cancer. No, that's not. I'm not talking about cancer. Like he had other pulmonary problems as well. Here we go. Let's look at this one.
Not take Blue Chew Gold if you're not ready for all results and a great night. Seriously, you get blood flow, arousal, and connection. All of that in just.
Yep.
Here's my water. Did I drink all that water? Son of a bitch. I need more water. All right. Now I want to add some details to the I'm gonna have to add something different to this burgundy kind of reddish flower up here. That shit is not covered at all. Yeah, orange covered pretty good, and the turquoise. Everything else, those greens were kind of tough to color, but oh man. All right. I doubt if the attorney was trying to tell him to spill any of the beans. My client is refusing to answer any of these questions because we know this is just a show trial in order to get him to do what? Incriminate himself? Yo, if you ain't do shit wrong, bro, you can't incriminate yourself if you didn't do anything wrong. People plead the fifth when they did something wrong, yo. That's the only time you plead the fifth.
How was Brooklyn, Charles?
Oh, same old, same old. The county's complaining about us misleading the stockholders and blowing the employee pensions. I mean, what a bunch of babies. I mean, come on, this is business, people, right? And speaking of business, Tachko, take a power. You!
No more money. Shut that fucking charge on!
Man, I said stop calling, all right? I'm bagging the coke up as fast as I can.
I'm Detective Charles Stevens from the Dade County Police Department. I've got a warrant here for your arrest.
A warrant?
Charges of cocaine trafficking. And frankly, I'm afraid I don't know how to handle it.
Oh, man, we gotta be careful with this. We don't want to embarrass somebody like me in front of my family and my community. I tell you what, I'll come in and turn myself in around Thursday, okay?
It's 1 o'clock this evening.
Oh, no, that's no good for me. I got some trim coming at 12. I'll turn myself in, say, between 2 and 6.
Thank you so very much for your help. And again, I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
Oh, no problem. One love.
I love you too.
So what am I charged with? Yeah, like you don't know, you little bitch. Could you do me a favor and not smoke? I'm allergic.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry, Chuck. What'd I do you a favor and put it out there for you, huh? I want to catch this punk.
He wants to talk to his lawyer. Legal aid? You're on. Sorry. I feel like my 14th case this week. Somebody take a piss in here? It's me. Hi, Pete.
Dave Chappelle did this skit about the two different types of legal systems and what if they were reversed for like high white collar crimes like embezzlement or fraud compared to like drug dealers. What if a drug dealer could go through the same court system that someone like Fauci can sit through? And what if Fauci had to go through a fucking court system where you got a legal aid, man? A public defender trying to get you out of trouble, man. Look, it's two different systems. Thank you.
I would like to compliment you gentlemen on a very classic baller-ass spread with cheeses that I've never even seen before. And my apologies for being late, but I got caught up with some punana.
So, like I said, you don't want to make a big deal out of this. You're a cocaine dealer, but you've done a lot of good for the community.
Oh, I know, man. On Thanksgiving, I've been passing turkeys out like Nino Brown, baby.
But seriously, we have to do something. How about you testify before a Senate committee and spend 2 months at Club Fed?
When I get out, can I still traffic rocks to the community?
Absolutely not.
You're right. Selling rocks would be wrong. Damn shit.
Anyway, he points the gun at us and he tells his dog to sick us. It was at that point that I fired upon the canine and we were able to subdue Mr. Jeffries. Upon further search of the mansion, we were able to locate this. Pure Colombian heroin. Yeah, wait a minute, Your Honor. I don't know whose heroin that is, but it certainly isn't mine. And his wife threw her titties in my hand. It was weird, Your Honor. You grabbed her titties. I saw you.
Before I sentence you, is there anything you'd like to say?
Okay. First of
all right, that's enough. You're the worst kind of scum on the face of the earth. You're an animal. A filthy, big-lipped beast. I'd like to congratulate the jury, your peers, reaching a verdict. 10 minutes is in the courtroom. All your possessions will be seized immediately by the court. You will receive the mandatory minimum of life in prison. Plenty of time to lift weights and convert to Islam. Oh, get out of my sight, you fuck.
Sir, is it true you were a crack cocaine dealer for 7 years?
I plead the fifth.
Sir, will you tell us about the cartels you dealt with in your time as a crack cocaine dealer?
No, but I can tell you that I plead the fifth.
Exactly how much money did you earn in your time as a crack cocaine dealer?
I said there are so many amendments in the Constitution of the United States of America. I can only choose one. Plead the fifth. Plead the fifth. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You say fifth. Go ahead, ask me a question. You fifth. The secret document that I think you need to say.
Good afternoon. I got your sentence reduced to a month.
Go ahead, ask me another question. Fifth. Anything you say? Fifth. So many units to the Constitution. There's only one I can choose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yo, Chappelle's crazy with that one. That's skit how many years old? Yeah, that shit like 25 years old, yo. If Fauci did the motherfucking Dave Chappelle on their ass. Ask me another question. Fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How much money did you earn as your time as a crack cocaine dealer? Fifth. I plead the fifth. Well, can you tell me? No, but I can tell you I plead the fifth. What about fifth? And that why Dave Chappelle is the GOAT. Try to get them chores done.
The Joe Rogan Experience. I saw JD Vance on your show the other day. That was really interesting. He's, of course, I was interested in what he had to say. You kind of pushed back on what he was talking about in terms of calling. I don't want to use that word, the D word, right?
Demons?
Yeah.
Why don't you want to use that word?
Because I must take this opportunity now to say that I am speaking on your podcast as a private individual, and I don't represent my university talking about this, okay? So, I mean, seriously, look what happened to him. So he basically, was honest and said, yeah, I think that these are, demons. Well, that was a headline, Joe. But when you actually listen to what he had to say, it was more complicated. And so I thought that he did a good job of talking about it with you. And if you want, we can talk about that, why he would think that. He is Catholic. I'm Catholic. I do history of Catholicism is part of what I do. By the way, I'm a professor of religious studies at university. So so I've been like looking at that. I've been doing Catholic history my whole life. So I started looking into UFO experiences in 2012, and so lots of stuff is new. Okay.
I didn't think that he had a very satisfying explanation as to why he would say, "I think they are demons."
Yeah, I can fill that out.
Okay.
Okay, or fill that in. All right, so he's coming from the perspective of Catholic theology. So in Catholic theology, there are generally, if you're looking at anomalous phenomena, which they do, supernatural anomalous phenomena, a lot of weird stuff happens within the history of religions, okay? So they have categories for understanding this stuff. And the categories include three different categories, basically, three different types of things. Supernatural things, which they think can't be explained and that they're like miracles. Someone terminally ill prays for a saint's intercession and then they become healed and doctors say, we can't figure that out. That's supernatural. That's a miracle from God. Okay. That's one category. The other
I always can't get with that one because someone who is internally ill, who has cancer or some other extreme ailment that you can't see, a tumor, some kind of blood disease or something, you can't see it. Well, with the proper equipment, you can see it. But like with the naked eye, you can't look at somebody and be like, oh, cancer. Some tumors you can see too, because they're very large growths. But normally, what it is some kind of ailment that is very hard to see gets cured. And they always say, oh, that's a miracle, because the doctors said, man, this dude was going to die from cancer within the next 6 months, and his cancer went away. I just be wanting that shit to work for amputees just one time. So that's why when she said miracles, that's why the first thing is an internal ailment that is cured and not some major amputation. Why is that never a miracle? Why don't we ever get regenerative limb growth as a miracle? I mean, even in the Bible, bro, you done had people literally rise from the dead. Motherfucker been dead for days and hours, and they get back up and walk around and not finish because they was already finished living life, and they get up and start living a new life. Like, you was dead. What the fuck? But nobody ever grew a limb back. A mighty warrior loses a leg in a battle, and then the leg just grows back because he prayed for it, and it was a miracle. He done made motherfuckers see again, brought back vision. I'm skipping over a story that I've never heard of. Somebody ever got a limb, got a whole leg back, or an arm, or even just like a pinky finger, or like, ain't nobody never grew nothing back before. That'd be my only argument, man.
story is the natural. So things that are within nature, we can explain them, everybody knows what a natural kind of event is, hurricanes and things like that. But there are events that cannot be explained but don't merit the supernatural category. And those events, by the way, there's a word for it, and they call it the preternatural. Okay, the preternatural. And this has been a category that Catholics have had since at least the medieval time period. And because they're trying to figure out, if let's just talk about UFOs. If UFOs are here now, most likely they've been around for a long time. And so whatever Catholics were seeing in the medieval time period, they had categories for trying to understand it, just like we were trying to have too. And so they say, the theologians at the time said, like Aquinas, Thomas Aquinas, he said, okay, the preternatural, these are events that happen and they're either angelic, like, good things like that, or demonic, which are fallen angels, or other things, because God has created other things other than, he's created the unseen and the seen, some things that we can't see. So in the preternatural, there happens to be experiences that people have with things that seem to be similar to what people talk about when they're talking about being abducted by UFOs, beings that appear and disappear, beings that can seemingly read your mind. So this would be the theological category that Catholics have called the preternatural. And I think that's what J.D. Vance was trying to get at.
But why would you call that a demon?
Okay, so this is a good question. And that's where I'm going to kind of like help push back on you, and then you can push back on me again. All right. So the fact is that we don't know. Okay, we don't know. So there's analogous experiences that people have. Now that I've been doing this since 2012, a long time, it is beyond a doubt that there's a pattern match between people who have these experiences and people who have demonic experiences. That's an analogy, but that doesn't prove that they're identical.
When you say pattern match, what do you mean?
Yeah, so I'm talking about what people actually experience. So when people have these experiences, what happens to them? They report things like things appearing and disappearing, luminous lights, okay, lights showing up, aerial phenomena. They also report beings that can somehow read their minds. They also report that sometimes they feel like these beings put thoughts in their minds, okay? These are all things that Catholics who know the history would say, wow, that sounds like this kind of situation. Does that mean it is that situation? There's no, we can't say that it is. And that's where your point is relevant. Your point is that how do we know that they're demons? We don't know that they're demons. But it warrants an investigation, I think, into the similarities.
Okay, but when you think about demons, most people think about evil. They think of something that does horrible things to you, possession, something that causes you to murder people, or something that wants to murder you, or something that wants to steal your soul. That doesn't seem at all like what we're talking about with these UFO experiences. What it seems like is you're encountering something that is a superior intelligence, of superior technology, something that's very different, that communicates telepathically, but they don't seem to have vicious intentions. So I don't understand the distinction. I understand why you would call that a demon, unless you're just using that in this old school term, because the people that were experiencing this supposedly, or assumedly, when we're talking about ancient times.
What if the strangest vision in the Bible wasn't the home in exile? Jerusalem, the holy city, has fallen. The temple faces and 4 powerful wings, without ever needing to turn. Perfect, immediate alignment with the divine will.
In witnessing a vision so profound, it redefines your understanding of the divine.
Ezekiel describes a vision unlike anything else in Scripture. In Ezekiel chapter 1, he sees wheels within wheels, filled with eyes, moving with fire, lightning, and the glory of God. This powerful moment reveals that God's throne is alive.
I just want somebody to read the fucking verse. You can't find somebody to read the Bible verse?
Pathically, but they don't seem to have vicious intentions. So I don't understand the distinction. I understand why you would call that a demon, unless you're just using that in this old school term because the people that were experiencing this supposedly or assumedly, when we're talking about ancient times, and they didn't have words for it and they didn't know what they were experiencing, they would call that a demon.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a really good comment, and this is something that I'd agree with you, like before 2016. I'd say, yeah, you're right.
What changed?
Okay, that I did a lot of research, and what I found was that, let's take an example because examples are good. Skinwalker Ranch. So there are a lot of people who are associated with looking into UFOs who are well known to UFO people who work at Skinwalker Ranch. Okay, so I learned about Skinwalker Ranch pretty early on, 2013 or so, and I learned about it from Gary Nolan. All right, so he said, he was talking to me about it. He said, yeah, a lot of my friends are working out there and they want me to go out there and do some study of what's going on. There's anomalous phenomena. They think it's associated with UFOs because UFOs show up and this and that. And I said, oh, are you going to go out there? And he said, no, I'm not going out there. And so I was like, well, okay, why? And he said, because it's really negative. The things that happen to people, they get something called the hitchhiker effect. And so the hitchhiker effect is when this scary stuff that's associated with like a haunted place follows you home.
Right, I've heard of that before.
Yeah, the hitchhiker effect. I think it's called the hitchhiker syndrome or something. And so I met a lot of people who had this happen to them who had UFO experiences. So I would say that no, not all UFO experiences are like that, but enough of them are like that for me not to ever have one. And also to associate the preternatural, that's what I started to understand, that, well, the preternatural is still the best category that we have for looking at this. Not all preternatural phenomena, even for Catholics, is negative, right? Some of it's actually really positive. But the problem is that human beings have a hard time figuring out, like, it could be deceptive. This is another thing where Gary Nolan comes in. He was on Tucker Carlson, I don't know, like 4 years ago or something. And he said, and I've talked to him about this too. Tucker asked him about, well, what do these things, what do they say? And he goes, oh, they lie. They're deceptive. And he's a guy who doesn't have a dog in the race in terms of religion. Like he's not, affiliated with any religion. So,
when he said they lie, like what specific examples does he have of them lying?
Okay, so listen, when we start to look at this type of situation with, these experiences and so forth, what a Catholic would do, like what a Catholic priest say would do, would be to identify if there's deceit happening, to identify if there are negative effects, and, because there's criteria for looking at the preternatural. And so a lot of things that happen are when you have, these abductions, which some people view as positive, but some people don't. They don't like these abductions. So yeah, they'll say things that aren't true.
Like
and
what?
I don't know. They'll say like, okay, I'll take an example. I'm not going to out any experiences that I know, but I know a lot. So at this point, I've had like, I don't know, about 1,000 people talk to me about their experiences. So one in particular regularly gets prophetic messages. some of which come true, most of which are not true. Okay, that means when you have one or two prophetic messages given to you by an anomalous, being or whatnot, and it comes true, you're willing maybe to believe it, right? Oh, this is telling me good information, but then they start not to come true, and then if that person makes this public, that person then is, people associate them with falsehood and deceit, and that's not a positive thing.
Okay, but have you taken into consideration that this person might be mentally ill?
Of course,
Right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
This idea that they're getting all of these, like whatever it is, visions. I mean, how are they receiving this information? Are they receiving it telepathically? Like when you say prophetic?
Yeah. So there are different. So you asked me what kinds of people, like what they would say, right?
If these things are deceiving them, so they have these prophetic visions, right? How are these visions manifesting themselves in their mind?
Yeah.
Is it coming as a voice? Are they seeing an event happen?
Okay, so there are a variety of ways in which people receive this type of information, like prophetic information. I would say that some people actually see things, and the beings like impart telepathically, like mind-to-mind transmission, something. This is going to happen, and then they believe it. Okay, this happens within like angel events, like Marian apparitions. It happens to people. It happens to people in abductions as well, and I mean that's what happens to them. They see things. They sometimes have visions in their dreams. So there are a variety of ways that people can get this
Let's stop right there.
information.
Visions in their dreams could also just be dreams. Like, how can they just make a distinction between just dreams? Like, oh, Godzilla was chasing me. I was on a skateboard. I ran into my cousin. We hid in his basement. And then I woke up. Like, that's just a dream. That's not a prophecy. And if they're having those dreams as well as these visionary dreams that they think are inspired by some entity, how are they making the distinction between the two of them if both of them exist at the same time in the same person's mind? How are they giving them this information? Are they giving it to them telepathically, or is it coming to them in a vision and a dream? They're two very different things, right?
Yeah, but it could be both depending on the instance.
Right, but if it's in a dream, how do they know it's coming from this entity and not just a dream? That's my point.
I know that,
They're being deceived.
Well, a lot of them won't make that distinction, and so that's where you need
The abductees won't make that distinction.
because they've never had this happen to them before. So of course they're going to think this is true. But my position is that be careful because we don't know if it's true or if it's not.
Right, but I mean, how are you making the distinction between what is just their imagination and them being deceived?
Right, that's the good question. I don't know.
So how is Gary Nolan saying they lie?
Well, he's taking data and he's saying that they're saying this they're telling these people this information and it's wrong information. And so he's not making, he's not trying to make a big claim. He's just basically saying, Tucker asks him why, what kind of things are they saying? And he said, well, they're being deceived, right? They say deceitful things. And my point, by the way, getting back to the original.
Right, but it would be very frustrating.
Yeah, I know you're frustrated. But the original question here is, what is J.D. Vance talking about when he's saying these are demons? And I'm trying to explain that he's referencing this theological category that has been around for a long time. And that is actually quite useful in adjudicating what's going on when people are having these experiences now. I'm saying that I'm not trying to propose that these are like experiences. Honestly, I wouldn't want them to happen to me. And I don't wish them upon anyone. But some people.
You wouldn't want to meet an alien?
Not the aliens that people seem to be meeting. So
Which one would you like to meet?
Well, I don't know. I mean, hypothetically, I'm not
I like
sure
to
that.
put it out there. I'm down. If they want to meet me, I'm down.
It's a record player.
This is insane. 1,500 watts. This thing goes up to 28 miles per hour. It even has suspension. I love this vibe.
the Joe Rogan Experience.
So their real fear is worrying about the aftermath, worrying about chaos in the streets, rioting, looting. That's the real fear?
That's the real fear. You can search up so there's unclassified pandemic plans, which are done by like FEMA, DHS. They're always done by former officials, former SecDef, former CDC director, sitting around a table running a pandemic planning game. They do them at the Defense Department and they call it a biological catastrophe war game. Those are declassified. All of them that I was looking at go through the series of events, outbreak, infection, sort of everyone trying to mitigate the release, the spread. And then it gets to a certain point. In my scenario, it's day 6 because pneumonic plague is fast. Well, there's a point in all these plans where anarchy and chaos takes over and the war game ends. Like, and now we're done here. And I would say, as the journalist, like to myself, what happens next? What happens next? And why aren't we learning about it?
And they don't have any plans for what happens after anarchy and chaos?
They do. They just don't have it in the declassified games. And that's what there's a plan called the Devolution Plan.
Oh.
Eyebrows up for a reason.
De-evolution.
Think about evolution.
Yeah.
Now put a D in front of it.
Yeah.
Instead of going forward, you're going backward. So you've heard of DEFCON, right?
Yes.
Okay, so DEFCON, Defense Readiness Condition, there's 5. 5 is the lowest. That's like normal every day. At 9/11, we were at 3. DEFCON 1 means nuclear war. There's a separate structure of readiness condition called COGCON. Probably haven't heard of it because it's classified. Stands for Continuity of Government Readiness Condition. It's
The continuity of government readiness condition. So this is like the bunker shit, right? When they put the people who they feel matter, who will make the decisions, where they get everybody in the bunkers.
4 levels. 4 is every day. 1 is insurrection. The Insurrection Act gets declared. COGCON 1 is in effect, and the devolution plan happens, which I learned means a subset of pre-designated officials. They know who they are. They've signed contracts. They've rehearsed.
So this is kind of like what they did in the video game, The Division. These people were like normal. There's another movie or TV series that kind of did it too. I think it might have been an episode of Black Mirror, where it's normal people. In Black Mirror, it was like local government officials. I think one guy was the mayor or somebody like that. But he already was a part of a program and he was aware of a contingency plan that if any national threat were to befall us, like nuclear war, that he would have to step up and become a higher official for his region in that area, just in case anything survived. And this motherfucker had to leave his wife. He told his wife, "Oh, we're going here and we'll be back." And he didn't come back. And then he went to this bunker locally in town with him and some other officials, and they were supposed to sit there and wait that shit out. Our Masonic Lodge is a bomb shelter. The shit is, from the outside, it looks like a fucking castle. And it has blast doors in it, like literally blast doors in this bitch. And it goes deep underground, yo. That shit go deep underground. So I already know, like, this is a definite contingency plan because we're close to Philadelphia, which isn't a really big financial hub or anything like that. But there's a lot of influence there. And it's a lot of people. It would be a great site for causing mayhem. But we're not far from Philly, though. But you know what's close? We're by a lot of bigger cities like New York and Philly and shit like that. So they would definitely have to find something local and close by to get people to. Yeah, these motherfuckers prepare for all this shit. And they know too, like, they're only the 1%. You're the 1%, bro. And when there's fucking anarchy and shit really hit the fans, the anarchists will realize that we have everything in common against the 1%. They know that they may come and they won't be able to survive that shit very easy. They won't be able to survive it very easy. So they're making contingency plans and bunkers. Even the regular billionaire tech bros, all these motherfuckers got bunkers. Bezos and Zuckerberg put their shits in Hawaii. They don't even want to be in America if this shit collapses and anarchy breaks out. A lawless society? Man, you know niggas gonna dox my address and come fucking hunt me? We getting it in there, bro. I might have to run and wash this water. I'm gonna wash this water and this pallet out because everything's getting kind of filled up right now. Switching back and forth on these colors. Let me go fuck up my bathroom sink a little bit.
They go out. In the words of the former FEMA director, COGCON 1, you send your devolution crews out. They go out to a hot site, warm site, or cold site, underground bunkers located around the United States. This is from an actual FEMA chief telling me this. And they set up how to run the government because the idea is all the regular government people will probably be dead of anarchy, insurrection, pneumonic plague.
So they have bunkers.
And those are classified.
The bunkers are.
Where they are?
Do you remember there was the bunker after 9/11 where Dick Cheney was in the bunker, but George Bush was just like hanging out?
They left him. I think they left him in Texas, or he was on his ranch.
He was just out there in the world.
You know what? I had someone tell me where he was, and I went through like a problem with like legal whether I could say this. So I had to say I was told, but it's not verified, something like that. But one of the CIA spy pilots, Ken Collins, he famously flew the ox cart out at Area 51. He told me that on 9/11, George Bush was driving around in Texas, maybe it was in Florida, in the back of a laundry truck. That's how they kept him hidden.
What? A laundry truck. Did they just have it look like a laundry truck and outfitted with like regular seats in the back, and that's how they drive him around?
I mean,
a bulletproof laundry truck?
No, I think he got I think it was like, what do we do with him? And that was what was available. It was a laundry truck. That's what I was told by like a very reliable source.
That was available, meaning there was nothing else available that was incognito?
They were trying to transport him to the Doomsday plane, which is where he ended up going, into the Doomsday plan and flying around in circles.
And they thought that like a caravan of SUVs would be too obvious?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So you learn really pretty quickly that there's all these plans in place, but then it becomes like ad hoc or like on the fly in an actual crisis or emergency.
If you make music, you've definitely been in this situation. So I've been playing around with Suno V 5.5, specifically the voices feature. When I'm traveling and don't have my setup, when I randomly get an idea in bed at 2 a.m. and
whoa.
But okay, you're referring to Mount Weather. That's where Dick Cheney went.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
What's that?
so Mount Weather is in the mountains outside of DC. It's like
There's mountains outside of DC?
right, in
Really?
the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Oh,
Yeah,
how
right.
far are those?
175 miles.
Okay.
So the Pentagon has an alternate command center called Raven Rock, underground bunker.
That sounds like it's right out of a video game.
It sounds
Like Little Raven
Ra-
Rock.
they probably have put it in a, that's a real, like it used to be classified and no one used to know about it, and now it's kind of
Well, Mount Weather, they put that in a TV show. If you ever watched this TV show called The 100, they're in that mountain, Mount Weather.
out there. The official.
Is this it, Jimmy? This is
Yeah.
the bunker?
Yeah.
Oh, we have a map of it? We got blueprints?
All sorts of information about it. What do you want to know? 51 miles from DC.
How deep is it? 51 miles from DC.
At least 7 levels.
Wow.
The Oval Office would be at the bottom.
That's
That's where
crazy.
that's where Cheney was on 9/11.
So is that where like a nuclear bomb can't get to it?
A nuclear
Is that
bomb
the-
would take it all out. In nuclear
really?
war, I destroy all of those. I mean, I don't destroy them. I show you how they would be
Right.
destroyed. Russia would put like 5 nuclear bombs on Raven Rock, and it would just
boom, 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 boom.
that would be
boom.
it. I mean, look, I also write in the book, and this had never been reported before because I interviewed CIA officers who both debriefed the Soviet defectors and also people who chased WMD in the hands of terrorists during the War on Terror. And I specifically didn't want to write that scenario because it's so loaded to go with like terrorist use of a biological agent. But I give you little history lessons when I stop the drama, one of which involves an Al Qaeda terrorist that was captured. She's actually now in Texas in a mental institution for the rest of her life. Her name's Afia Siddiqui. She's an MIT trained biologist, related by marriage to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. Okay, and she was leading the biological weapons program. This is according to the CIA officers.
She's trained at MIT?
She was trained at MIT and then she went back to Pakistan. She was the first woman on the FBI's most wanted terrorist list
How come they have her in a mental institute?
because they caught her. And then this part is reported. They caught her and somehow, again, the air quote, somehow she got a hold of a Marine's rifle and was firing at the FBI agents interviewing her. This is all public. And she was shot. They took her to the United States, gave her a trial, decided she was insane, put her in a mental institution. But what had never been revealed before my book is that in her handbag, she had plans to create a genetically modified pathogen that mixed rabies with chickenpox. Think about that. Imagine airborne rabies. Rabies, like pneumonic plague, is one of the only other pathogens that has 100% death rate without countermeasures.
Oh. And rabies, like when you see it in animals, I've never actually encountered a rabid animal in the wild as much as I know. But when you see them, they want to infect something else. They get hyper aggressive.
Yeah.
They want to bite you. So if they bite you, they give it to you, which is really crazy.
Yeah.
Like this disease makes them throw their own safety out the window and just go after people and try to bite them.
I mean,
There's another movie that came out back in the day called Quarantine. There was this apartment building in some urban city somewhere. All these people were getting sick and acting crazy and attacking each other. And it was some type of airborne rabies. Go look up that old movie, Quarantine. I'm almost certain they said it was rabies.
rabies is like now its own a rabid animal. You know,
Right.
you think of it of it's so visceral.
Right.
It's
Right.
going to come at you with its infected saliva. I almost went with the rabies scenario because I I always, in these scenarios, tie them to actual events that have happened so that readers don't go like, this is Annie Jacobson's dystopian imagination, as much as they say, oh, she's following what, science. This is science fact, not science fiction. And so when I learned about that plan for the genetic modification of rabies and chicken, airborne rabies, but then I thought,
how far did she get along with this?
That is classified, Annie. But I did get a second person, David Relman, who's the advisor to the president on biodefense, to confirm with me that was actually located in her handbag and caused serious concern.
Oh, now imagine if they never found her, they never caught her, and she completed that.
I mean, it's really terrifying.
It wipes out most of the country.
And also just in the most horrific way. I mean, like having to look at your pet and be like, is my pet rabbit? It's just.
Oh, Jesus. It could catch it too.
Another project.
Oh, she had another project?
Multiple projects. Yeah.
She had collected materials on viruses for biological warfare, and one of her projects is finding its way to infect America's poultry supplies with an antibody that would allow chickens to pass salmonella onto humans more easily. She later destroyed her work after suspecting Abu Lubab was hoping to double cross her and turn her into the United States authorities.
This is a long Wikipedia with quite a bit of twists and turns. I'm surprised it's not a movie. There's a lot going on.
Oh my God. And that's one person that we caught. Now, that's not like this is the only time they thought of that. This is the only person that they tried to recruit to do this kind of stuff. There's probably someone out there right now. Hence your book.
I mean, I interviewed this guy, very famous, legendary CIA officer named Rolf Moet Larsen, and he led the counter WMD team, right? So he would go to places basically like with a bunch of ground branch guys, CIA paramilitary guys behind him. He was kind of like the intelligentsia at the front to try to negotiate with Al-Qaeda weapons makers, biological weapons makers, and say like, you can't do this. It's going to kill all of us. And he told me a couple stories, and I write them like history lessons in the book. Once he went to Sudan and met with the top biological weapons maker for Al-Qaeda. And like, it's just chilling. It's basically, you get the feeling like that Rolf said, I got them to agree to stop temporarily.
If anyone in this room found out what I was, I wouldn't make it out alive.
Quinn Talon, Squad 3. Is this a joke? Why is a level 1 on Squad 3?
Temporarily.
Temporarily. Sorry, Joe. This is the nightmare stuff.
So what do they think that they're going to do if they get into these bunkers? This is the thing. It's like if society completely collapses and anarchy just sweeps the nation and you've got cities on fire and people killing people and looting, eventually they're going to run out of food. Eventually there's going to be no infrastructure. You've got no power. You've got no one who's taking care of the water. No one's taking care of the satellites. No one's taking care of anything. The cell phone towers are down. What are these people in the bunker going to do? Are they going to reinvent society?
Well, that's the plan down the road. But before
Do they have that?
Part 5 of the devolution plan is called reconstitution.
Oh, Jesus.
So they're going to reconstitute the government, like rise again like a phoenix from the ashes. But before that, I also learned the government has issued, the Pentagon has issued 1.7 million gas masks to its personnel. So they fan out across the states, but they can not really handle the numbers of people who are actually going to die pretty quickly. So instead, what their job is to protect the critical infrastructure. All that stuff you exactly mentioned.
So they're just assuming that most people are going to die.
Yeah. I mean, this is the quote. This is an exact quote from Colonel Tom Earhart, who ran catastrophic nuclear and biological war games at the Pentagon. Have you ever heard of a very famous guy? They called him Yoda at the Pentagon. He died like a couple years ago at age 100. His name is Andy Marshall.
No.
He ran the Office of Net Assessment. Talk about a euphemism, or like a cloaked. That's where they did all the war gaming. And Andy Marshall did this in the 70s all the way through his recent death. And Tom Earhart worked for him. It's in the office of the Secretary of Defense. So what Earhart told me is, in the event of a biological catastrophe, and by the way, that includes not just an attack, but an incident. And an incident means a lab leak. Okay, so in the event of a catastrophic biological incident, there is very little you can do to protect the homeland. Only things you can do to mitigate extermination.
Of the human race?
That's his quote.
Mitigate extermination.
Mitigate extermination.
So you want to keep as many people alive as possible, but it's probably going to be a very small amount.
And it's probably just going to be the 1.7 people with the gas mask and a whole bunch of like Machiavellian solipsists.
Can you imagine if our society had to be reinvented with only people that work in the government? Can you imagine
and
some of the most incompetent, crooked people in the world, and that's the new society?
Well, I have a feeling most of the bureaucrats would die because I don't think they could, take care of themselves, right? I think the people that would live would be those well-trained soldiers.
Well, that's not bad. That's probably a better scenario.
But the other problem you're looking at is reproduction because there's 17% females in the military.
That's not good.
That's not good. And then the other problem is that the other people who are left that are not in the military imagine the skills you have to be able to like deal with fear of infection in a manner that you basically have to be able to, as it was said to me, kill people on sight, like not even worrying about whether. This is where it really feels like The Walking Dead or,
Right.
an apocalyptic movie.
If I can teach myself a new language while juggling fire, so can you. Well, not the fire part. Don't try this at home.
Vigo, give me a cup of tea, please.
Dame una taza de té, por favor. Listen to this app for just 30 minutes and you'll start speaking Spanish, French, Japanese, or 51 other languages. After 14 days, you'll be conversing confidently.
Ask her, do you know a good doctor?
¿Conoces a un médico? After 30 days, you'll be speaking with a near native accent.
Continue straight ahead.
Siga derecho. The best part is you can learn while you drive, do the dishes, work out, or, juggle fire.
This way.
Por aquí. For more than 50 years, the Pimsleur method has made it easy for people like me to learn through the science of conversation.
That's my address.
SAS.
Some of them have figured out that the country's a scam. They invent mental health ailments they don't have. They take days off on end. They terrify their superiors. They found the flaw in the system. They go, why are you late? They go, I'm gay. You go, don't worry about it. Are we still on YouTube?
Dylan! He's a comic icon?
A master of improv. One of the best in the world.
I like making people laugh at stuff that is inherently maybe a little darker because from 13 to 25, I was a closeted gay cocaine addict. But some of our best qualities don't come about because of the best reasons.
There's no one better at those random rants.
There's a lot of topics I want to go through with you, and the first is the future of AI.
We've bred some of the least interesting people on the planet, influencers. These generic barcodes with feet, those people don't need to exist. They need to be replaced by an AI version of that.
What's your assessment of different generations?
Well, we've given up on the children. They're being raised by algorithms. The boomers are the funniest generation because to be funny, you kind of have to just not care. And there's no generation of people that have cared less about the future of this planet, about their children. And then the millennials were this very generation of want to constantly be patted on the back and told how great they are. I believe the right things. I tweeted the right thing. I am good. I know that's unpopular maybe to say, but I'll just keep going.
Before this episode starts, I have a small favor to ask from you. 2 months ago, 74% of people that watch this channel didn't subscribe. We're now down to 69%. My goal is 50%. So if you've ever liked any of the videos we posted, if you like this channel, can you do me a quick favor now? And I think What's your assessment of these sort of different generations? We have these Gen Zs, millennials, and we have the boomers. What's your read on these?
Well, we've given up on the children. The future is not the children. The children are no longer the future. The future is AI. The future is robotics. We're very clear on that. We don't even talk about the children anymore. We talk mainly about AI. No one even said anything about the children in months, years, really. We've given up on the children. They're dead-eyed little monsters. They're running around killing each other. We can't deal with it. It's very traumatic. I've even stopped thinking about what they're doing because it's crazy. I'm more excited about AI than the children, just like anyone else. Who's reviving the economy of San Francisco? The children? No, AI. So AI is next. We don't know what we're going to do with the children. Build prisons. That's what I say for children. They're crazy. They're being raised by algorithms. They're all on fentanyl. They're all on drugs. They're all running around trying to kill each other and record it. There was a case in Phoenix, Arizona, these rich white kids running around, beating up kids at random, filming it and putting it on TikTok. No motive, nothing. Just for clout, just for the excitement. And they killed the kid. And finally, now because they're all white, of course, the cops didn't do anything for a year. And they were like, well, just a couple of kids having fun killing the other kids. This is how people grow up. So this Gilbert, Arizona Police Department does nothing about the whole thing. Finally, they just arrested these kids because they killed somebody. But this is not only there. I mean, it's kind of an epidemic where, like, all over the place, you see, like, you know, young people, unfortunately, you know, these crazy acts of violence that are now being uploaded for clout. People going, look at what I did. And what they did was, like, you know, assault someone or kill someone. It's a real problem. So we have to deal with the kids in some way, jail them, I don't know what to do with them. But AI is big, and robotics is big. That's what is next. The boomers, I have a book coming out about them. I love the boomers. They're a selfish generation of people. The state of the boomers, these paranoid people who refuse to leave their McMansions. They will not leave. They will not retire. They lord around their houses. They diminish their children. They say, I can't believe you don't own something like this. They like holding these houses over their kids' heads. They retire to bigger houses. They have thousands and thousands of square feet. They're very sick people. They refuse to give up their jobs. They're dying in the Senate. They're collapsing in Congress. They will not leave. They will not cede any of their power. They're emotional terrorists. And I grew up with them. They're very interesting people. They've proven the lie of the 60s. These hippies that everybody thought were like progressive, they're actually not. They were always just selfish drug addicts. They never cared about anything they purported to care about. They just wanted to get high and roll around in the mud. And then as soon as the drugs changed from, whatever, from, acid to money, they, became this very like materialistic, soulless group of people. But the funniest generation that has ever lived, nobody's funnier. Nobody's funnier because to be funny, like we talked about, you kind of have to just not care about anything. And there's no generation of people that have cared less about the future of this planet, about their children, about anything than the boomers. They're all little islands, and they all are about themselves forever and ever. And there's something actually refreshing about that, funny. And they're holding the planet hostage. They won't die. They won't leave. I've suggested they be forcibly evicted from their homes and committed to mental institutions. Legally, we have some problems. That's not easy to do. I've spoken to some lawyers. There are problems doing that. And then the millennials were this very shitty generation of like, pin a medal on me, pin a ribbon on me. I'm right. I went to the right college. I got the right internship. I believe the right things. I tweeted the right thing. I did the right thing. I have all the right beliefs. I have the good politics. I have this. Shower me with, tell me I'm good. Because my boomer parents, they don't care about it. But you tell me I'm good. The world needs to fill the void that exists inside of me. And these millennials are these kind of ambitious people that want to constantly be patted on the back and told how great they are. So they're kind of shapeshifters that conform to any popular sentiment. They crowdsource all of their opinions. They just want, whereas the boomers just kind of didn't care about anyone or anything. You have the millennials who are like more like, I am good and you tell me that I'm good, because they're good to be told to be good. Their politics are aesthetic. They want everyone to look at them and to tell them how great they are. And then the Zoomers are the younger generation after the millennials. They seem to be, somewhat like they're self-starters, they're very skeptical of institutions, they're a little more cynical. That's some of their positive qualities, that they're more independent-minded. The negative qualities are the aforementioned murder and the filming of the murders and the killings and the drugs and the fentanyl vapes and all of that. That seems to be less. I mean, we need a draft, to be honest. You know, now that I'm kind of older and fat, now we need a draft. Young people should probably just go into the military. I know that's going to be a controversial thing to say, but if they're just going to do fentanyl and attack each other in malls and put it on TikTok, they can go die in the Ukraine so that Bowen can make some money. We still on YouTube?
So you would you consider yourself to be optimistic about the future? There's a lot going on in the world.
No, I don't. I'm sane. I think there's good things happening, but I mean, optimistic for the future overall, I don't know. That's tough to be, maybe, right?
I mean, you've got elections coming up this year as well here in the US, which
we all know elections solve everything. We all know that's where the real power lies, the elections. Yeah.
When you're talking about refusing to relinquish control and power, the boomer generation, I was thinking a lot about Biden there.
Sure.
Because it seems like your presidents are getting older and older and refusing to.
Yeah, I mean, Biden seems to be a bit old. Trump's old. You know, Biden seems to be in a stage of mental decline, though. He was really good at the State of the Union. They gave him something. They shot him up with something, which is great. We have no new talent in the country. Nobody wants to be a politician anymore unless they're psychotic. We need young people that care about the country and that want to change it. And what you're getting now more and more is, you know, all of the interesting people in our country are, and the people that are ambitious and the people that have talent, they don't want to be in politics. They want to be somewhere else. It's more fun to go to Miami and trade Bitcoin on a yacht. You know what I mean? They just don't want to be in politics. They don't want to do it. So you end up with these octogenarian, drooling, somewhat, like dementia-ridden people who are capable of even understanding what's happening because they don't even know what it is. They barely know what TikTok is. TikTok is something their grandchild shows them. You know, it's some party they're having in Maine. They're sitting on a hill in Maine eating lobsters falling out of their mouth. They go, look, Grandpa, look at the TikTok. You know, and then they have to then go into Congress and hash this out. No, so I mean, the problem really is we just don't have young people that care enough about the country because the press is going to rip their lives apart, right? And there's so much more money elsewhere. There's so much more, and the system's so toxic and so corrupt. They go, I don't want to get involved in that.
They're going to ban TikTok, aren't they? They're talking a lot about
They're
banning.
talking about it. I have no followers on it, so I'm for the ban. You know, for completely personal reasons, I'm for it. And I also think it's probably, I don't know anything about it. I just know that people are making a lot of money on it. And so if I say I'm for the ban, people get angry with me. It's not a good cultural force. But what is?
Have goals in terms of your comedy and your career more generally. Do you have like stated goals?
Yeah, I have things I want to do. I have, the boomer thing. I want to do a show about boomers. I've always wanted to. The book is going to be a large part of that. I want to do either a movie or a show. There's something, I find it very funny the way I grew up. My friends' families, their parents were very funny people. Want to do something that kind of immortalizes that, because they are about to leave. They are about to go. And there's something very funny about them. And I want to make something about, I think a lot of comedians, maybe everyone wants to do something about their childhood or do something about how they grew up, but mine will be good. That would be different. I really like the idea of that's a goal. Just to tell that story is a goal. Bang on the desk. I apologize. And then it's just to keep making people laugh and to keep having fun. I mean, all the things that there's certain that boomer story is something I want to tell. You got to find the right platform with the right medium, but that's something I want to do.
All those early experiences that you've had have quite clearly manifested in your work in various ways. You talked about the unprocessed trauma from your earliest years.
Yes.
Have you processed it?
No. I mean, I processed some of it. Okay. I mean, I don't know that I processed all of it. in one lifetime, it's a tough thing to process all of it. But I process a good amount of it. And I've come to a point where always more work to do. You could always be in a better place mentally, and you should try that. You try to get there. I've done a good job of processing it. I lost my mother about 6 months ago. I think it was August. She died in August, I think, maybe 6 months. And it was a very difficult thing to go through because her life was not great at the end, but it was in the beginning. She had a lovely, amazing life in the beginning. Her and my father were married for 10 years before they had me. She loved surfing and boating, and she spent a lot of time in Florida. And she was voted best looking in her high school. She was very, very attractive early on. The front nine were good. The back nine were a little tough. But I had her out to my house on Long Island, and the whole family was kind of there. We had a really nice day of everybody, my cousins, her sister, being there. And that was a good moment. That's what I'm remembering. It was, she was as good as she could be. I try to get more religious as I get older and more faith. I think faith is a good thing to have. Obviously, being a human institution, there's pitfalls, there's problems. We don't have to rehash them. There being a spiritual realm to me is, I think it seems to be quite possible. I think that people are more than their bodies. They're more than the flesh. There's a spirit there. And I think there was a spirit in my mother that was trapped. Very difficult situation. And I think that spirit is free. And I think that's the way that I feel about things now, is that I seem to be getting more this idea of, the physical not being everything, and that we should develop a spiritual side of ourselves. And I look at the struggles that she had later on in her life, and I was like, keeping her in a body and in a mind is actively fighting against her was a selfish thing. So letting her
Look at that, only 1% of people can make it to level 4. All right, level 1. Level 2, I feel like this is going to be my size. Level 3. Oh, I'm not going to lie, level 4 looks kind of big. Hey folks, today is Friday, July 31st, 2026. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. We should just jump in with the big one. The conversation that's been on a lot of people's minds is PlayStation, physical versus digital, all that stuff. Sony has actually finally responded. If you've been paying attention, you've probably seen quite a bit of backlash to the fact that Sony came out and announced, hey, in 2028, we're cutting physical game production. Everything is going to be all digital. We're jumping into the all digital future. That's where the money is. That's where we're going. And so there's been a lot of conversation out there for physical game ownership, but also just digital game ownership, consumer rights, the walled garden, all that. There's been a lot of good conversation going, a lot of people banging on PlayStation's doors. I've been talking about this story every week on this show and also on my other YouTube channel. And now, finally, Sony has said something, but I don't think it's what some people are going to want to hear. Sony did a 2026 earnings announcement call type thing, and most of this comes from Sony's CFO, or Chief Financial Officer, Lin Tao. Quote, we announced that from January 2028 onwards, we will no longer be manufacturing discs So we announced it 1.5 years ahead. There are various reasons we made this decision. The biggest being that the digitalization of content overall has been progressing. That's the big factor. It's not just for PlayStation, but for all kinds of content. And so when we think about the future, we put in a lot of thought and time, and we cautiously considered this, and we came to this conclusion, and we're going to cautiously move this forward. So it's kind of like I've been saying, especially when there was that petition that came out that people were signing, I really think like the corporations don't care, and they're going to power through doing this. I don't think Sony's going to course correct. So this year we have Sony doubling down saying, hey, we've thought about it, but this is what we're doing. It's interesting that she meant cautiously moving forward because there is so much about this, especially things like if everybody and all of their ownership and all of their stuff is going to be completely online, PlayStation, PSN needs to be more secure, accounts need to be more secure, stuff like that. And especially if you're owning things on digital, it can get sketchy when just last week, both PlayStation and Xbox had significant length outages where people couldn't access their games. The issue has been resolved, but some people's memory is pretty short term, and there have been times where PlayStation and Xbox, but PSN specifically, has been down for a significant period of time. And if that's all you got, then you're kind of like left to the wolves. You just have to kind of hope that Sony pulls it all together. So when she says cautiously move this forward, I'm just hoping that what they do is they strengthen their infrastructure, they consider players, they consider availability of games, how license checks work, and how secure accounts are, stuff like that. Like there needs to be something passed on to the consumer here. Because looking at the forecasting with everything going to be completely digital, even if there are a lot all digital now already, when it's 100% digital, they're going to be making a lot of money. Also, the CFO of Sony did acknowledge the backlash somewhat. Quote, "To this decision, we have received various opinions, and people have strong views, and we understand that the community has put forward those views to us." This kind of sounds a little condescending to me. Gamers are loved by many people. It's a form of entertainment that's loved by people, and it's connected to people's fond memories in many cases, and so we understand those emotions. Okay, thanks, Mom. We want to consider that, and in the future digital ecosystem, how do we engage the gamers is something that we would like to continue to explore. Okay, good. I'm glad that at least they have seen the backlash and they are thinking about something. Is it going to be a compromise or make good? I don't know. But again, the big thing I've been saying here is consumer rights and stuff like that, but also is there any value that's going to be passed on to the consumer? If they're going all digital and they're going to continue to make a ton of money, make the games better, make people's accounts more secure. That's probably asking for too much in this cynical day and age, but yeah. Also, side note from this, it seems like PlayStation is still aware of the retail situation being a little bit more confusing, physical stores and stuff like that, because, quote, "With the completion of disc production, we communicated this at an early stage so that we have enough time to be able to listen to various partners' voices." Quote, "In North America, this has already happened, but without discs in the package, there's a code included. That's how they sell in North America. There are regional characteristics for each regional partner, so we'll try to have a thorough dialogue so we can end up in a win-win situation." Win-win situation here to me just sounds like, PlayStation and retailers, they win, and what happens to us? But I am genuinely curious to see how this is going to shake out. Are we just going to have plastic physical boxes forever with a code inside, or is it going to go back to like you grab a card off a shelf, that's your code, that's it? And again, it's different for different countries and different regions, so I'm curious to see how this is actually all going to go down. But that's where we're at right now with PlayStation, Sony officially acknowledging the whole thing, the backlash that a lot of gamers have been giving them online. To be honest, it's pretty much what I expected. No huge surprises here, but I think we're still gonna have to wait and see. Actions speak louder than words, and if they did say that they are listening to the feedback that gamers are giving them, let's see what happens. Hey, next up, this video is sponsored by Ridge. By now, you know them because of their great wallets. The Ridge Wallet 2.0 is here. It's great. Slim. They have a lot of cool everyday carry accessories, as well as their portable charge bank here, which I actually have on my phone right now. I use this thing all the time. Wireless charging, also USB-C with a cool kind of retro throwback clear purple. I love it. Big thing though, right now, Ridge is doing a massive sweepstakes. 2 winners can get a Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato, a Hennessy Velociraptor, a sweet Ford Bronco, or $100K cash now through September 8th. Anyone watching here can enter for free. And you can earn additional entries by buying Ridge products. So why not check out their Baja GT style Ridge Wallet 2.0? It looks sweet. Plus for the sweepstakes, Tony Hawk is the spokesperson, so I'm biased. I think that's really cool. Big fan of the games, obviously. So if you want to check them out and enter to win some sweet rides or 100K cash. All you got to do is click the link in the description. That's ridge.com/GameRanks to enter for free. Again, check it out. Enter to win at ridge.com/GameRanks for free. And big thanks to Ridge for sponsoring this video. Now back to it. In other news, the deal that a lot of people forgot about, EA is selling. EA is, of course, getting bought out by an investment firm with a bunch of various partners, including Saudi Arabia. And that deal seemingly is wrapping up very soon. The $55 billion private purchase deal is apparently going to close next week, with Variety reporting their SEC documents saying, quote, as of July 30th, all regulatory approvals required to complete the merger have been obtained. Electronic Arts currently expects the merger to close on or about the close of trading on August 4th, 2026. So, like I said, this deal took a while, but now it's finally seemingly wrapping up, unless anything comes in the last minute and says, I object. This is going through, and I'm curious to see what this means for the future of EA. As we've seen with other big, massive, mergers and acquisitions and things like this, it takes a while for things to really set foot, for things to really take root, rather. But there is a lot of speculation about just how this is going to go down with like a, private equity deal here. Sometimes those don't work out and companies usually end up gutted or extracted for all profit until they're dried up.
Tuesday off, I'm dry!
We'll see where this goes. It seems like EA's offices are going to stay the same. Andrew Wilson is still going to be CEO. He, of course, just got like a big, nice, fancy new bonus. But for now, that's where we're at with this. Also, in other news, Bethesda news. Bethesda got a new logo. This is celebrating their anniversary, their 40th anniversary here. This logo actually looks cool. It's not often you see new logo rollouts and you go, oh, that's awesome. But like, this looks pretty cool. And I honestly think it's almost too cool for them. It's just like super retro wave, cool, like Blade Runner look to it. It suggests that they make badass games. And sometimes they do, but I don't know. Either way, I like the look. It's fresh.
Okay, let's do another one. I want a professor teaching quantum mechanics. Honestly, I love the script you came up with. Wow, all the still frames you generated, amazing. Let's start with a wide establishing shot and make it a 5-minute lecture.
Quantum mechanics describes how particles exist as probabilities rather than certainties. The wave function contains all possible states and
it's old school. Let me know what you think. Also, it looks cool. It's not often you see new logo rollouts and you go, oh, that's awesome. But like, this looks pretty cool. And I honestly think it's almost too cool for them. It's just like super retro wave, cool, like Blade Runner look to it. It suggests that they make badass games. And sometimes they do, but I don't know. Either way, I like the look. It's fresh, but it's old school. Let me know what you think. Also, we missed it last Friday, but there were some Tomb Raider delays. So Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, which was slated to release in this busy fall season of September, October, right, has now been pushed to February of 2027. But along with that, because there was like a Tomb Raider game following soon along after that, Tomb Raider Catalyst, that is now pushed to 2028. So if anything, I like this. I want more games to have breathing room in a busier release schedule. Also, I like when games take their time and you make them good and you don't rush them and you put out quality stuff. So hopefully that happens for Tomb Raider. I did preview Legacy of Atlantis a couple of months ago. I liked what I saw, but it definitely was still a work in progress. Also, side note, if you're ever trying to hit me up, follow me on Instagram, instagram.com/Jake Baldino, @JakeBaldino. It's linked below with all the sources. Tends to be where I post the most these days and really where I respond to messages the most if you want to reach out. Hit me up. But in some interesting news, if you like data points, Capcom came out and posted some positive sales numbers, but it's interesting. Resident Evil 2 Remake is the best-selling game in the franchise history, which is pretty cool as someone who grew up loving original Resident Evil 2. But apparently, according to them, lifetime sales of the entire Resident Evil franchise has now hit 213 million. Resident Evil Requiem has apparently sold over 8 million. And interestingly enough, Capcom also stated that Pragmata is doing pretty well, over 2 million there, which is cool because that's a risk. That's a new IP, a completely new franchise. So it's cool to see that it's not just all remakes and sequels, an actual new fresh game, if good, can do well. Also, in case you missed it, a bunch of previews and some gameplay went live for Gears of War E-Day multiplayer. I haven't got my hands on the beta or like whatever it was, but
Let me take a,
so far sentiment seems.
Let me take a break. Try to get me some breakfast, and then I went to the craft store, get some varnish, and see if we can figure out a color for this background. All right, guys. I hope y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all next time. Peace. We're out here.